Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So there is other things. It doesn't mean just because you haven't got legs you can't do other stuff.
Yeah.
And in this race, there's like disabled people who are beating able-bodied people.
Yeah.
I mean,
what?
Would you go and see that? I don't know.
But I mean, it depends. What do you mean? They're beating them? What? At what?
He didn't state what the little races were and that.
Little races.
Can't help himself.
No, little races. Oh look, there's the disabled with their little races.
Yeah, they're having another little race.
Oh dear.
Would you go? Would you go and watch that?
Do you remember when Jimmy thought that Paralympics stood for Paraplegic Olympics?
The Paralympics?
Yeah, it means parallel Olympics.
Yeah.
He thought it meant Paraplegic Olympics. That would be a good site, wouldn't it? Mainly blow football.
Right.
Right. Okay. So, what was that thing I told you to look up in the week?
You were saying, I don't believe you. We're going on about, we were talking about the half man, half woman,
Yeah.
and you were saying,
You can get a sex change on the NHS just to see what you say about that. Did you look it up?
I didn't, because I think I was wasting my time. I don't think you
I'm
can
giving
have
all
that
these things. Little play
Interesting
records.
stuff.
You're annoying
No, but
me now.
you wouldn't do that. You do. You see,
You've
the
annoyed,
other thing
you've
we were
annoyed
talking about-
Steve. You've annoyed Steve on air.
I'm sorry about that.
Well, it's just too late, Carl.
But we were talking about other stuff as well. I mean, you know, talking about operations and that. You were saying, you know, can you have a sex change done on the NHS and that?
No, you can.
Well, you say you can. I think that's a bit. It's not that important to have done, I don't think.
Well, it depends if you desperately want it. It depends if you feel that you're born actually a different sex.
Right? And then you went on to say there's other things that are done. Get this, Steve. Someone, if the cat's got a bad liver,
Kidney.
right, bad kidney, can have it done for £5,000.
Yeah, you can have a kidney operation.
But what's wrong with that? If you've got £5,000 you want to waste it on a cat, then fine.
Get another one. We went through loads of cats, I've told you before, as a kid, we got through loads. It's not worth it, and there's no cat that is that amazing that you'd go, gonna miss that one, it's never gonna be the same, because
What do you mean? What would it have to be able to do to be worth it? Well, it's normally to do with people's affection for their cat. They've had the pet for many years. What do you mean? It should be able to juggle? Or do
just-
impressions, and that's why it's worth £5,000?
Supposing there was a fella, right? He feels he was born a woman. He's not happy, right? He doesn't want this he's got a knob and a couple of testicles that he does not want, right? He wants a lovely pair of tits and a minge, right? And he finds out that he gets a cut price. He gets, you know, a cut price sort of operation, a dodgy backstreet maker, right? £5,000, knockdown price £5,000. It's done with a blunt knife and some chloroform, right? But
why have you got to have it all done?
what? You mean just like have the knob trimmed and wear a bra?
Well, yeah, I mean, are you saying if you have it all done you get some sort of offer, if you give them something?
No, I was being flippant. I'm saying I was trying to get down to £5,000. Supposing there was a fellow who had £5,000 to give away, right? Some old woman with her cat is going to die, or some fella who wants his knob chopped off and a lovely pair of tits put on. Who would you give the £5,000 to?
So, hang on a minute, so there's a fella who wants to be a
Jesus.
woman,
Yeah,
and there's a woman who's got an ill cat.
yeah.
You see, I'd be annoyed. Is this £5,000? Is this my savings, or...?
No, just you get given £5,000 and you go, but you've got to give it to a charity of your choice, and it's got to be one of them. You give them
Right, I'll tell you
£5,000.
what I'd do.
What?
I'd find out what the cat looks like, get a replacement, right? Say it's had the op. She's loving it, thinking it's happy again.
Yeah.
Give the fella the money.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, so you're basically saying that you'd rather have the bloke have his knob cut off and stuff than
I'd
save
have
the
to have a
cat.
chat with him first and say, what's your problem? And say, why do you need this doing? And
I think they go through that. I think they go to counselling and live
Just
as a
check.
woman for
like a second opinion thing. I'd just be saying, right, are you sure?
yeah.
But £5,000 on a cat, even, it can only be for people who have got loads of money, right? And it's like, well, £5,000, it's nothing.
Well, I think this debate will rage on. Should we play a record and come back to this? Think about it, though.
Yeah. Bit of White Stripes.
Placebo. Bitter End on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington. Carl, you're looking all flustered and confused again.
Still sort of don't get it.
What don't you get?
Well, that's a long list, Rick.
Yeah.
The, you know, if you have your...
Knob cut off.
Yeah.
It's because they feel like they're actually born a woman, and they're not living right. They can't live properly with all these things, you know. Well, I mean, there are people that are genetically the other gender. They've just grown, you know. There was one woman actually who was a scientist researching it and found out genetically she was a man. She had Y chromosomes. But this is something different. This is both psychological and everything
well,
else.
Sometimes it's that thing again, isn't it? You can't always have, you know, what you want. It's like I'd like to have hair. Do you know what I mean?
But it's a bit easier. You can wear a wig. You can't go around really. Well, you can put on, you know, false breasts and tuck it in.
That's just it as well, isn't it? You see, you say, you know, you could have the operation done and that, and yeah, you might sort of feel as free as a woman down below and that, but at the end of the day, you still look like a fella.
Yeah, here's a bra and a split tennis ball.
No.
They'd be just like Auntie Nora.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Well, yeah, but it's about their outward appearance as well and how they feel publicly. Don't forget, a transsexual, it's not a transvestite. This isn't just a builder in a dress. They have hormone replacement as well, so they get estrogen, so they and electrolysis, so they have, you know, their face looks different, they don't go bald, they're slighter, they you know what I mean? They're the real thing. A transsexual is now the real thing. Biologically and politically and...
But they'll still be a man, won't they?
Well, it'd be embarrassing if they don't tell their new partner and there's pictures of them, you know, down the pub when they were 24, but you probably sort of get over that, don't you? They go, who's the fella with the beard drinking the yard of ale? That was me.
Well, interesting story. Probably should have told you this before the honeymoon.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, you can have all that done, right? There's stuff, you know, you can have your bits done, right? You can have, like, false teeth, but you know that when you see an old person with a good set of teeth, it's like, well, they're false. There's no way you've got good teeth like that if you were brought up in, like, the 30s.
But what would you do if Suzanne said, look, I've got a terrible secret, and she showed you a picture of this kid, this little boy, growing up, you know, playing football, and then the pictures stop at 20, just before you met her, and she goes, and she shows you a nice pair of bollocks in a jar, she goes, they were mine.
Well, first thing is he'd take back the gloves he bought her last week.
Would you go, oh, I can't go out with you now? Or would you say, well, you're the same person? I've blown his mind. I really have freaked him out there.
She is into sport.
Hey? Should we play a record while you give her a call?
No, but look, what I'm saying is right, it doesn't matter what you have done. We can wrap this up here, because I've got it sorted, right?
Okay.
Doesn't matter what you have done, at the end of the day, it's obvious that you've had it done. If you're a fella and you've been changed to a woman, I could spot you, right? If...
You can't, though.
I tell you what, I was at Suzanne's mum and dad's, right, up north last week, and I went to the off-licence, right?
Yeah.
And I went in there, never seen this fella before, right? Soon as I walk in, I eye him up behind the counter and go, alright, mate.
Oh, hello.
I notice he's got a wig on, right?
Yeah.
Now, it was... I kind of looked and thought, yeah, it's a wig, whatever. And then I thought, I wonder if it is. And as I got to the till, I said, how much is that? He said, you know, 50 pence. I said, great. And as he turned to the till...
Were you buying Suzanne a gift?
As he turned to the till and he did that sort of angle, you got the profile, you see the bit sticking out of the back, you go, that's a wig.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. And it's like a little. It just the last inch just lifts away from the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, everybody who goes in that shop will probably know him as having a wig and that. It keeps him happy, but everybody knows. So what I'm saying is, it's like.
But could I just say, transsexuals put in a little bit more effort than a fella who's plonked a rug on top and held it down with some duct tape. Do you know what I mean? You know, the only giveaway often with a transsexual is the big hands. They can't do anything about that. That's the only thing, you know.
Right.
But I mean, transvestites are different. You know, they are builders in the dress. You go in a supermarket, you turn around, you see a 6 foot woman, huge head. You go, all right, love. You're not she's packing more than us three put together.
That's what I'm saying.
But, you know what I mean, that's one of the, if Eddie Izzard, right, meeting Eddie Izzard, right, who likes to pop on a dress now and again, right, what's the politics with that? Do you go, because he walks in, he's all in evening gown, and he goes, alright, Carl, and you go, alright, Eddie, and it's in a busy pub, and you go, oh, what's he, and you go, do you say, do you want a pint of bitter, and slap him on the back like you would have met, or do you go, that's lovely, that's a lovely dress, do you know what I mean, what do you do? What do you do with a transvestite?
Would you compliment a transvestite
on their lovely dress?
if he was wearing a nice dress? In the same way that you would if Suzanne was wearing
Probably
a
in
nice
a different way. I'd probably say that dress, you know, looks nice. Be even nicer on a woman.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
So you try and change the way they think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd want to teach them a lesson.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It's just, it's one of them things I can't get my head around, to be honest, right? I can handle hairy Chinese kids.
Yeah.
Is it true to say that you've never been able to handle a transvestite?
So I'm just going to add that to the list then, Carl, of things you can't figure out. It's like 4 volumes. Snoop Doggy Dogg, obviously, in the classic What's My Name?
Yes. XFM 104.9. We've done that, so that's good. We've done...
So we've solved the whole transvestism issue.
Yeah, let me just check. We've done hairy Chinese kids, people having their knobs cut off.
I think we've touched on the war as well. We've sorted that out.
We've done freaks, haven't we? We've done freaks with no arms and legs, haven't we?
Take that. Just don't think there's any other areas of possible offence.
Have we done Forrest Gump in a wheelie bin? Well, we touched on your Auntie Nora, but haven't mentioned her 5 for 5 minutes, or showing you her clunge. Hold on, let me see. I don't know if I think we might have.
I'd definitely like to hear the word clunge more often.
Yeah.
On this show.
Her Mary.
Leave that.
Yeah.
I'm still none the wiser on that, but we'll leave it.
I love the fact you are such a you're such an old man, aren't you? You're such a reactionary old man, the way you talk. You are the sort of bloke, I imagine you and your father stood in a pub, if a man came in a dress, oi, you're a bloke in a dress, take it off.
We were talking, I realised last week we were talking about things that you can, sort of say and do when you're sort of like 40. I thought another one, nod to a policeman.
Yep, definitely.
They're on the beat, they're going along, you're going, you're going on, yeah, I know you're alright, I know you're alright.
Yeah.
Never mind these youngsters shouting at you and knocking your cap off.
Exactly.
It's that you can nod at
if you're 40, you can nod at a copper, because it's like going, I know what you're up to, it's a difficult job, you're doing it well.
Yeah, I respect you now, I didn't when I was young, I know what I was thinking of, well done, mate.
Well, I like the one you mentioned last week, you're now of an age where a van driver might ask you to back him into a parking space.
Yeah, well, you don't feel, you go, get out of the way.
He wouldn't even consider
No,
me.
get out of the way. Yeah.
If you're under 30, you don't even consider. It's like I was thinking today, if I was in a pub with my dad and say his mates, and they're all sort of 40 or 50, there is not one of them that would turn to me first with a pint of bitter and go, taste that, see if is that off?
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't want your
never
opinion.
consider me. My opinion is the last one they're interested in.
Yeah.
Is that off?
Things you can do over, I think, maybe 50. Wear a flat cap and not like a prat.
Yeah.
You know, you're wearing it
It's a
because your head's
fashion
cold.
statement. Yeah, exactly.
You're wearing it because your head's cold. You're 50 years old, flat cap, fine.
Yeah, or just wear a suit and tie without having to go to an event or a convention
Just
or
get
to
up
work.
and pop on a little old suit and
Just
tie.
pop on a suit and tie.
I tell you what, I love seeing old boys in a suit on Sunday.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've got shiny shoes and they're 75.
I've got
and they go
photographs.
down the pub and I think it's brilliant.
I got photographs of one of my late grandfathers, he must have been in his 60s, on the beach, wearing a suit. Wearing a suit on the beach. I think I got a feeling he's even got a knotted handkerchief and a full 3-piece suit.
That's great.
It's brilliant.
It's a decency at all
My
time.
grandfather, in my mind, my grandfather was always wearing a suit. I never saw him not wearing a suit. I think he wore a suit to bed. I can't imagine taking that suit off. It was always...
Maybe it was an all-in-one, pull-on one.
But he didn't, I mean, what the weird thing is, though, it wasn't like he worked in a bank all his life. I think he was a builder. And then he retired and thought, it's time I should start wearing a suit.
I know, I love it. I just, you know what I mean? It's because they've got to do something then. They've got to get up and they make an effort and they're still part of the world. As opposed to me already just walking around in my pants.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like there's no point in getting dressed, I'm not going out.
Yeah.
Or everything's got an elasticated waistband.
Yeah, you don't even consider a pair of trousers.
Slip-on shoes, pull-on trousers, I
have never seen a man with more Velcro in his closet. That has got to be for you the best time-saving device ever. Velcro.
It's great. Just me and a baby girl, a dry white baby. I went to after we went to the
Has your
awards.
tuxedo got Velcro?
Well, I was still talking about that. The award show. I went home. When did we stay there? We went to 12 or something. Anyway,
Yeah.
I went home and I was watching telly at the end, right? And I was eating. I had these sesame seeds 'cause I was hungry. I had a few. And in the end, at the bottom of this jar of sesame seeds, right? Or there's tiny little seeds, but I didn't want to waste them, so I sort of poured them into my mouth and sort of like ate them like millet, like a budgie binging.
Yeah, yeah.
I went to bed, got up the next day. I thought, oh, I felt a bit sweaty. I had a resolve, and there was loads of seeds still in my chest.
What, in the hair on your chest?
Yeah, I had to pick them. It took me ages to pick them out before I had a bath. So they must have stayed there all night, but not with the, with the cheese and alcohol that was coming through my pores. These seeds, they started growing. I'd have to mow my chest. Oh dear.
Your girlfriend's a lucky woman.
Sesame seed chest. What we got, Carl?
Oh, do you remember we were also talking about, on the names you cannot call kids now? It's like there are certain
I was
names.
thinking that, like, that there's great old blokes' names, but they have to be a baby once.
Yeah, but yeah.
I name this child Alf.
You can.
Stan.
There are sort of these names which you just never name a child now. I mean, Carl, frankly, is.
Oh, that's alright.
Which is quite
Carl's
friendly.
good. Oh, but Sid.
Alf Sid. You would never name a child Sid. Stan.
Bert. I name this child Bert.
Did I ever tell you about my Uncle Alf?
No?
He wasn't a proper uncle, right?
Right.
But it was just
he an aunt?
one of my dad's mates and
Yeah.
that. And he was getting on a bit. He must have been about 60, which is pretty old when you're younger and that. And he was the same. He used to always wear a suit and that. But he was still making half the effort and that.
Yeah.
And he used to sleep in a dinghy. Right, Uncle Alf.
What? In his house?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, in a flat, he's in like a little bed sit. Because he only had a little bed sit, and he was into boats and stuff. So he had this
Two
dinghy.
birds with one stone.
Had this little dinghy, had a little flat, thought, well, it's tight space and that. He had a dinghy as a bed, and he had 2 tellies, right? He had 2 tellies, one on that the sound worked on, the other one only the vision worked. So if you wanted to watch a programme,
You had to turn both on.
put them both on like BBC One, turned one up, and watched the other one.
Wow. That's extraordinary.
From his dinghy?
Sat in his dinghy.
That is brilliant.
It was an inflatable dinghy, it wasn't like a wooden.
Yeah, an inflatable one, yeah, big inflatable
Did you
one.
ever go around and visit him?
Yeah, now and again.
Was it weird seeing a 60-year-old bloke in a suit, in a dinghy inside, watching 2 tellies?
It's weird at the time, I thought nothing of it.
But which of the TVs stopped working properly first? I mean, did he... let's say the sound went on one of them.
Yeah.
Did he carry on watching the other one, hoping that the other one was fine? Or
No, he
did
went and got a new telly, and then the vision went on that, and he went, oh no. He went, hold on though.
Wait a minute.
I've got another telly in the wardrobe that I haven't used. It must be like that.
Yeah.
Wow, he sounds brilliant. Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still around, yeah. I haven't seen him for years, but he used to,
Was he married?
I think that's what happened. I think his wife passed away, and that's when he had all this, he had a boat. And it's like, oh, where am I going to put it in a bed sit? And it was like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sleep in that. So, yeah.
I wonder if he ever brought any women back. Just the idea of bringing them back, getting down to it. Shall we move into the bedroom?
Ahoy! Oh, that is fantastic. Missy Elliott, Gossip Folks on XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Carl Pilkington. Now I know we're not meant to mention the adverts, and I'm not slagging off the advert. It's that National Lottery advert with the little Welsh fella saying your money from the National Lottery goes towards Mountain Rescue. And put it out there, we've saved a lot of people. Now, that's fine, that's great, well done. What I'm annoyed at is why those people are allowed to go up the mountain in the first place.
Yeah.
Don't go up there, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
You're at your own risk.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's ridiculous. Just posh, beardy twats climbing mountains and sticking a flag up there. Why climb? I don't want you to. I don't want you to.
Am I paying, is there any point, Rick, where I am paying for people to get rescued from mountains?
I'm not sure. I think the lottery's doing it now.
Fine. Because I'll
But-
tell you, if it was my money, I would be livid.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? I mean,
you should have to take out insurance if you want to climb up a mountain.
you should pay for it. If we save you, it'll cost a lot of money. You owe you. I'll be paying it back for the rest of your life. That's the risk.
Yeah.
Not falling to your death.
Exactly.
But never being able to pay. They're all posh and rich anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just like a cat gets stuck up a tree and the farmer come out because he doesn't know any better. Imagine if that was a bloke. I'm stuck up again. Stop going up there.
But that's what I'm saying again though, it's only a cat, so leave it up there.